Here are my top 3 hopes for Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. So these are 3 things I hope are included in the game. It's kind of too early to tell if these things will be mandatory or how prevalent they will be because we only have access to the first 4 chapters, which is actually kind of crazy for the demo, to be honest. Like, I have over 20 hours in this game already just between the 3 campaigns. I got to the end of chapter 4 on all 3 of them. So that's actually pretty crazy. But all right, for the first hope, this is one thing that I desperately like in games, or desperately want and need, and that is extreme difficulty options like maddening. It's an option, so it's not forced. So if you don't like high difficulty, it's not something that, the game shoves down your throat or you have to do. It's an option. So I do want something like maddening mode that it's just hard to complete the level. I'm not even talking about getting like S ranks and stuff. I'm hoping that there will be difficulty options that make it so difficult that you actually need to min-max, you actually need to plan which units are going to be doing what. But more importantly, I want there to be difficulty pressure in terms of what the enemies are doing, what the maps present, the problems the maps present. So that is my first hope. My second one is meaningful unit choices and tactics. So let's just open up the mock battle, for example, just to kind of like go over this really quickly. So one thing I want in the game is for when you deploy units for it to matter, and for what classes those units are to matter, what they have equipped to matter. I don't want it to be this thing where it's just like you win more, where like you can just kind of deploy whatever and it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to play around weaknesses or strategy as much. I'm hoping that on the hardest difficulty, the unit selection matters, the weapon selection matters, like weaknesses and strengths matter, like tactics matter. And one thing that I do like about this game are like the dynamic tactics. Like, let's say you have an enemy that appears and you have to like focus this enemy down. You do like an all-out offense for like 2 minutes just to kill an enemy, and then you switch to another thing, or you do like split pushes where you have like 2 things attack one enemy, and then you have 2 other things attack another enemy, and then you're like doing multiple things. And once you have to like pay attention to the mini map and then reorder them to do new things. I do like that aspect of the game. I hope that it really matters and it's not just one of these things where you just kind of get a bunch of units in a cluster and just like steamroll everything. So hopefully that is a huge factor. Like things that I want to see, I don't think there's battalions in the demo, but I want to see battalions mattering, item like equipment mattering, the combat arts being huge impact, the classes being huge impact, the abilities being huge impact, just like how it is in Three Houses Maddening. Like, arguably in Three Houses Maddening, once you know what you're doing, you can break the game very easily and just kind of goof off. But it takes like at least a maddening completion or 2 to get to that point. So hopefully all of this stuff matters and it's not just like win more abilities. Like, that's what I'm worried. Like, that's what I'm thinking might be the case. But hopefully that isn't the case. Hopefully all of these little things matter and add up. So, all right, so that's the hope, the second hope, meaningful unit choices and tactics. And then the third hope, it's actually just fight, is skill-based classes with timing mechanics and execution requirements. So 2 things that I like so far are the perfect guard, which I still haven't mastered yet because I don't really guard often. I usually just dodge. And I also like the perfect dodge. So like the dodge, let's see if I can get this guy to attack me. Alright, that was alert stance. If you dodge right as he attacks, you get like a damage increase, so I like things like that. So that's definitely something I'm going to be practicing. Okay, those little guys are chipping me, that's what's going on. Alright. I seem to be too early. But I like skill-based things, I like timing. So I'm hoping that there's a lot of things like the perfect dodge matters and the perfect guard matters, and these are things that you would want to train and develop a muscle memory for. Try to get this guy to hit me. He's really taking his time there. There we go. So like that. So that's like a guard, right? It's kind of like guard impact in Soul Calibur, which is something that I love doing. I'm not a huge Soul Calibur 2 player. Well, I used to be, at least, back in the day. But yeah, definitely skill-based things like that. Huge fan of stuff like that. If that's like a requirement to beat the hardest difficulty, that would be like a dream come true for me. I know some of these might be pretty specific. Basically, most of the things that I'm hoping the game provides are like difficulty things. This looks hilarious. It's just kind of flying around like a madman or mad woman. because we're female unit only for this class. But yeah, that's pretty much it. To recap, I want an extreme difficulty like maddening, and if it doesn't ship with it, if they add an update that adds it, that's totally fine. If it's like a new game plus thing, that's totally fine. Flying is very fun in this game, so that's pretty sick. Meaningful unit choices and tactics was number 2, my second hope. So basically, I want it to be the case that what classes you have equipped and what units you're running matter, as well as like the items and combat arts. And then finally, the third hope is that there are skill-based classes and mechanics, and you're heavily rewarded for like having a high degree of skill and for training certain things. So like getting those dodges off. Let's see if I can get this guy to stab me. Oh, oops, I accidentally hit something else. I think I hit up or something? Oh, I hit A, my bad. Yeah, I used my A attack. I meant to dodge. Alright, we'll just continue flying around and flexing on these dudes. Dude, flying is so fun in this game. Hopefully, like, it's balanced. I'm just hoping the game isn't, like, easy at the highest difficulty. I'm hoping that it's actually, like, a massive challenge. Even if it's, like, tedious and annoying, where you have to, like, get really good at, like, countering and blocking and dodging perfectly and finding opportunities and, you know, countering the enemy classes and positioning your units correctly, like all these things. Basically, I kind of want this to be as hard as maddening is on the first attempt, but in an action game with all the Fire Emblem stuff that it has, and that would do it for me. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this or found this interesting, definitely drop a like and subscribe. I will continue flying in a circle until you do. But all jokes aside, definitely drop a comment. Let me know what your 3 hopes are, because I'm curious to see what other people think, what they're hoping from this game, like what they want in the game. Another thing that'd be kind of cool, just kind of as like a bonus, is like different playable characters. They kind of like teased Kranya being playable, not that she's like a super main character or important character, but it'd be interesting to be able to play as the bad guys if there's like a bad guy campaign. That'd be kind of cool. And obviously playing as Byleth would be neat, because, you know, Byleth is pretty sick. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for checking this out, and peace.